But the president did talk about a global food shortage because of the wheat supply that is going to be greatly impacted by this war. And this comes, Laura, as a new Fox News poll shows that 56% of Americans say that inflation is not under control at all, obviously, because it's at a 40-year high. And it looks like things are getting even worse.
Yeah, what do you want to hear from the President of the United States? I guess that there is going to be a worldwide famine. Really positive to hear from Joe Biden, but there's one person he could blame for this. He can turn around, take a look in a mirror, and blame himself, because none of this situation, guys, would have ever happened if not for the Biden bad energy policies. If we would have stayed with the Trump-era energy policies, remained energy independent as a country, been a net energy exporter, Russia would not have had the stranglehold over Europe. They wouldn't have had the money and the leverage to invade Ukraine, and this entire situation would not be happening right now. So obviously, it's a horrific thing to hear that potentially this could impact not just Ukraine, but spread it out throughout the world, that people are going to be starving because of what's happening between Russia and Ukraine right now. And you think about the fact that the entire situation could have been avoided. About a year ago, last April, though, the Biden administration started paying a lot of money to farmers here in America not to farm. And of course, this is in an effort to make everything greener, to limit carbon emissions. So perhaps a step forward in the right direction would be to say, hey, let's make some more wheat here. Let's plant more crops here. Let's let our farmers farm and stop paying them not to farm. And maybe that's an idea. Maybe we can help the rest of the world in that way. We have to get back to producing things here in America and distributing them around the world, whether it's energy, maybe it's crops, but gosh, just bad all around. More bad policies and more bad news from the Biden administration.
Yeah, Lara, the people seem to understand this. It is shocking why the president does not. Meantime, former President Donald Trump, who you know, sources tell me, is suing Hillary Clinton, her indicted lawyer, Jake Sullivan, James Comey, Christopher Steele, and the DNC for crippling his 2016 race. A lot of people included in this. Lara, what's his goal with this suit?
Well, we can't have two separate systems of justice in this country, Todd. And unfortunately, that is exactly what it has felt like has happened. Since Donald Trump was elected in 2016, we have unmasked so much corruption. We have seen time and time again how things my father-in-law talked about happening and he was mocked for saying actually were proven right. That it wasn't that our campaign was colluding with Russia. It was that the DNC and the Clinton campaign was actually colluding with Russia. But unfortunately, nothing has been done to the people that spied on the Trump campaign, that spied on my father-in-law, that did all of these egregious acts, which are just so shocking in America. You would think about this happening in a banana republic, but they happen here in America to, an election that is arguably the most important in the entire world. So whenever these things happen and there are no consequences, it should scare every single American. So we want to make sure that people are held to account, that there is one system of justice, and whenever wrongs are committed, that, there are checks and balances on that. Unfortunately, none of these actors have been called on any of this. Nothing has happened to them. So we're leaving it to Donald Trump again to try and do the right thing here. We'll see what happens.
All right, more to come on that lawsuit. Laura, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.